This morning we proceed from a song that allows us to voice our longing for peace on earth to a passage that invites us to remember that God's longing for peace on earth is even stronger than ours is. Our passage this morning is Isaiah chapter 11. We'll be reading verses 1 through 9, and as we approach God's word, let us pray. Heavenly Father, we do thank you again for the promise of Christmas that came with Jesus' birth. And as we turn to a passage now that helps us to consider the full ramifications of his coming, of his life, of his victory, we pray that you would guide us by your Spirit, that we might live into this wonderful vision that you have given to us. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. So Isaiah 11, beginning at verse 1. A shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse. From his roots a branch will bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord will rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and of understanding, the Spirit of counsel and of power, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord. And he will delight in the fear of the Lord. He will not judge by what he sees with his eyes or decide by what he hears with his ears, but with righteousness he will judge the needy. With justice he will give decisions for the poor of the earth. He will strike the earth with the rod of his mouth. With the breath of his lips he will slay the wicked. Righteousness will be his belt, and faithfulness the sash around his waist. The wolf will live with the lamb. The leopard will lie down with the goat. The calf and the lion and the yearling together, and a little child will lead them. The cow will feed with the bear. Their young will lie down together, and the lion will eat straw like the ox. The infant will play near the hole of the cobra, and the young child put his hand into the viper's nest. They will neither harm nor destroy on all my holy mountain, for the earth will be full of the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Isaiah 11 helps us to ponder the celebration, the wonder of Christmas along these lines, that God willingly took on a great deal of vulnerability in his determination to make this world a safe place, a place where kids can be kids. Isaiah 11 helps us ponder the wonder of Christmas along these lines, that God willingly took on a great deal of vulnerability in his determination to make this place, this world, a place where kids can be kids. That's what the vision that Isaiah sees in this chapter helps us imagine. With lions living with lambs, the leopard and the goat, the children of these animals playing together, little children leading them around the pastures, cows feeding with bears, lions feeding on straw and not on some unfortunate antelope, children playing near the dens of snakes, even reaching their hands into a nest of a viper. It's a vision of a world in which it's a safe place for children. This is a place where kids can be kids. We have a nephew who likes to treat his yellow lab as a personal chauffeur, and much to this nephew's delight, the dog allows it. We marvel, we enjoy the innocent curiosity of children, seeing this great big world as a place to explore, and we're glad when they can explore in safety. This is the vision that Isaiah sets before us, that this world that God has created will one day be a place where kids can be kids. They can enjoy, they can marvel, they can wonder, they can explore, and they will not be harmed. Isaiah allows us to wonder about this sort of world through the vision he presents with the children getting along well with the animals. But of course we know that Isaiah's vision proceeds beyond the relationship between children and animals. What Isaiah is really concerned about is the fact that children would be safe, would be allowed to be kids in this world, and they wouldn't have to fear harm from other human beings, or the harm that arises with circumstances or tragedies. Isaiah envisions a world in which there are no orphans, A world in which there are no homeless teenagers, a world in which no young girl is forced into slavery, a world in which no child is forced to become a soldier. This is the sort of world that Isaiah is imagining, a great world, a wondrous world where kids can be kids. Of course, such a world does not only benefit children. To have such a world suggests that this is a great place, a spectacular place for adults too. Because for adults to provide such a place, such a setting, such a context for children suggests that adults have been set free from all sorts of concerns about providing enough. Will there be enough? Concerns about warfare or having to go off to war. Concerns about intolerant governments. Having the freedom to enjoy life. Being set free from concerns about health. About being satisfied in terms of how they view themselves, being affirmed with the gifts and abilities they've been given. In other words, they've been set free from everything that would prevent adults from simply delighting in the delight of children. It's a great world for kids. Here's a world where kids can be kids. They can be safe and secure and simply enjoy and play. But here's a world in which adults, too, have been set free to delight in the delight of children. What a wonderful world. And Isaiah, in his passage this morning, speaks to us of how God is willing to take on a great deal of vulnerability in his determination to make this world the world of the vision. And our clue about this comes from the fact that a shoot would come out of a stump. We passed stumps on our way into the sanctuary this morning. Stumps don't suggest to us a whole lot of potential. In fact, they suggest to us that a past, even if it was glorious, it's been cut down and it's done. There's nothing left to it. There's no hope from a stump. And so when we have stumps, we grind them down to nothing, even far below the surface of the earth, and then we replant. We have no use for stumps. And yet God would not forget about this one particular stump in that way. The stump of Jesse, the line that produced King David and King Solomon and reminded the people of Israel of the days of prosperity and all of the splendor of that kingdom and the safety and the security and the peace that came along with it. What a past. It's a stump now. Anybody looking at that kingdom with the fall of Jerusalem and a city in shambles would look at that and say there's no hope there. Certainly not for Israel, and of course not for the world, and yet God says, I'm not going to forget about that stump. Instead, God causes a shoot to come up from this stump. We look at a shoot, we recognize the vulnerability of it. It's fragile. At any moment, it could almost simply be plucked off. And yet God here, we're told, is going to cause a shoot to arise from this stump. And though any given shoot that we may see may not get us overly excited, this shoot in particular captures our attention because Isaiah says that the Spirit of the Lord is going to rest on this shoot. The Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and of power, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord. The Spirit that gives unparalleled discernment and ability to seek understanding in the midst of situations and govern in a way that results in peace, just as, Kings David and Solomon were given to rule. That sort of peace, that sort of security, that's going to be the sort of reign that this king will bring about. But we get the sense that it's going to even far surpass the reigns of those kings. Because we're told that when this king comes, this is going to be a king that he does not judge by what he hears with his ears or what he sees with his eyes, but he's going to judge with righteousness and with justice. Meaning that this king is going to be able to look into every situation of injustice and be able to determine exactly who's in the right, who's in the wrong, and to which degree. This will be a king who judges and is not influenced by bribes, is not misled by false information, but is able to judge accurately and decisively. This would be the shoot that arises from the stump of Jesse. And Isaiah invites us to wonder about the reign that this king would bring about. And so he shows us this great vision, a vision in which kids can be kids. And as if to show us just how serious he is about making this vision a reality in this world, God sends his son to be born. And as we look upon the life of this king, we recognize that, well, here's a king that was indeed filled with the Spirit of God. Here's a king who did not his own will, but he said he came only to do the will of his Father because, as Isaiah said, he delighted in the fear of the Lord. Here's a king who would teach us what righteousness, what God's righteousness looks like in day-to-day life, so that it would be a concrete reality here in this world and would eventually spread to the point that the knowledge of God covered this world just as the waters cover the sea. Here's a king who would come and by resisting every temptation to act in ways that were contrary to the will of God, well, this king defeated the power of sin, paving a way through it in a sense so that all who would come to follow him would find a path that leads through all of that, the despair that we note in our world, beyond that into a way of life that indeed allow us to enjoy something of a foretaste of the vision. Here's a king who gave testimony to the fact that God, his Father and ours, is not like so many judges of this world who is swayed by bribes and concerned about his own standing. But no, this God, our God and Father, is indeed concerned about justice in those who suffer oppression. Here's a king who came and after he'd been arrested, he stands face to face with one of the power brokers of his day, with Pontius Pilate, and he testifies to Pilate that I have come to testify to the truth. And we're led to believe, of course, that one day all then will acknowledge what the truth is. Here's a king who, after he had been raised from the dead, proclaimed to his disciples that all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Here's a king who has promised to return. And when he does, will judge as Isaiah has prophesied, will judge with righteousness and justice, and will set things right forever, allowing this grand vision of Isaiah 11 to become our reality, not just in our dreams, but in our day-to-day lives. The reality where kids can be kids. So our Christmas celebrations become a time to wonder about God's determination, God's willingly taking on a great deal of vulnerability to make this great vision, a vision of peace on earth, a tangible reality, making this vision of where kids can be kids, a reality when Jesus returns. And in that day, as Isaiah tells us, in that day we will say, give thanks to the Lord, call on his name, make known among the nations what he has done, and proclaim that his name is exalted. And in that day we will say, sing to the Lord, for he has done glorious things. Let this be known to all the world. And in that day we will say, shout aloud and sing for joy, people of Zion, for great is the Holy One of Israel among you. In anticipation of that day, and because God has guaranteed the coming of that day through Jesus Christ, we are going to sing. So, O come, all ye faithful, O come, let us adore him, for he is Christ the Lord. Let's stand as we sing. come to worship and celebrate the birth of the one who is now King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And as God sends us to continue to wonder about this great event and to spend time with our families and to live in light of the victory of Jesus Christ, we go with this blessing. Que Dios, que la gracia del Señor Jesucristo y el amor de Dios y la comunión del Espíritu Santo sean con todos ustedes. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all. Amen.
Sing.